Welcome to Bison Information Network News. I'm Jay Lenander.
And I'm Heather Viker. Homecoming week is here, and with so many events going on, it's a busy week for students.
Believe it or not, there are even more events happening this weekend. Let's hear from Bison Information Network reporter Lydia Crackle on what to expect as homecoming week continues.
Campus is covered in green and gold, signaling as a welcome to both new and returning students. Monday kicked off strong with a lively Pet Fest, and homecoming t-shirts have been on sale all week in the Union. But one of the biggest events is actually tonight, right here. At 7:30, the Homecoming Pet Fest will take place, and then coronation shortly afterwards will crown Homecoming King and Queen. Parking for this event will be in the T-lot just across from Festival Concert Hall. And if you're planning on traveling downtown tomorrow, you may want to take a detour, as the Homecoming Parade will begin at 5:30. Now, these events are all a big lead up to tailgating and the football game, where the Bison will take on Delaware Saturday at 1 o'clock. Reporting on campus, I'm Lydia Crackle.
Thanks, Lydia. We were lucky enough to sit down with the NDSU mascot Thundar and learn a little bit more about what it is like to be the Big Bison. During our interview, Thundar talked about traveling as the mascot, crowd experiences, community events, and more. With two people currently playing Thundar, the time as the mascot is split evenly between them. And although the suit is getting old, the time spent in it is still worth it. Take note that for their discretion, they will not be shown or named.
It's hot and it's heavy and you gotta carry it around and you put it on and then it stinks a little bit. And then when you finally get in front of people though and you just get out, you start feeding off that energy that people give you and people start putting smiles on people's faces. You kind of forget that you're in a hot, sweaty suit and you kind of forget about all that stuff and you just get to just embody this character and just have fun for a couple hours.
To read more about our interview with Thundar, check out the Spectrum's website at ndsuspectrum.com.
Before we move on to local weather, floodwaters continue to rise in the Carolinas.
It will be a long road ahead for residents in North and South Carolina as devastating floods continue to plague the region.
Steve Nanise has the details.
Our state took a gut punch.
The rain may be gone, but residents in North and South Carolina are still grappling with rising floodwaters and massive storm damage following Hurricane Florence.
This event's not over. The rivers are still cresting, and so we still have a lot of work to do when it comes to the life safety and life sustainment mission.
Hang in there, okay? Take care of the house.
President Donald Trump visited the storm-torn region on Wednesday as water overflows from rivers and creeks, rushing downstream to towns and cities. The Cape Fear River is expected to crest at 62 feet on Wednesday. Officials are urging residents to be patient and be ready for the long haul.
We will be there 100%. All of the folks from the federal government that are around the table, they're confirming it. That's why we started early, and we'll be here late. We're going to be with you, you know that.
The challenge now for state and federal officials is providing residents with the resources they need, for the thousands of people still in shelters to the tens of thousands of people who were impacted by the storm, which took dozens of lives.
We've got a long road ahead in the days and the months and even years ahead. We are a beacon in the South, and we have weathered storms before in our state. But, Mr. President, we have never seen one like this.
I'm Steve Nannis reporting.
And now we'll take a look at our local weather.
Thanks, Heather. If you went outside today, you'd know that it's been raining for most of the day. Ever since 1 p.m., the rain has been pouring, and it has not ceased. It was about 65 degrees throughout the day, with a humidity of 59% and 19 miles per hour. And if we look up at our 7-day forecast, you can see that more will be coming on the way, but not for a while. As today was a bit cold and of course rainy for most of the day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday over the weekend are going to be beautiful for homecoming weekend on campus. 61 degrees, 65, and 69 degrees respectively throughout the weekend. It's going to be a great weekend for Bison football and all of the homecoming activities that they have in store for you. But on Monday, we're probably going to see more rain. It's going to be 60 degrees and also 60 degrees on Tuesday and Wednesday after the rain clears up.
And coming up, the second suspect in the killing of Savannah Greywind is now on trial in a surprising drug bust in Moorhead.
The trial of William Hain in connection to the death of Savannah LaFontaine Greywind is officially underway. Hain, who was living with Brooke Cruz at the time she murdered Greywind in August 2017, stands trial for a felony count of conspiracy to commit murder. Cruz is serving a life sentence without chance of parole after admitting to killing Greywind in February, and could possibly be used as a witness in Hain's trial. The trial itself began on Wednesday with opening statements and testimonies from Graywind's parents. The trial is expected to last 9 days.
4 years ago today, 18-year-old NDSU freshman Tommy Bison went missing and was later found dead in an RV sales lot in Moorhead. In the time since his death in 2014, authorities have yet to name a suspect or a motive in the homicide. Bison was 4 weeks into the nursing program at NDSU at the time of his death and likely would have graduated this spring. The Forum is producing a true crime podcast throughout the next year on the unsolved case, which debuts tonight.
A runaway juvenile from western North Dakota is believed to be in the Fargo area or on her way here. The teen, Kaylee Miller, was last seen at her home in Gladstone wearing sweatpants and a maroon Under Armour sweatshirt. Police are asking anyone with information on the whereabouts of the teen to call the Fargo-Moorhead Dispatch Center at 701-451-7660.
3 people are in jail after $10,000 worth of meth and heroin was seized from a Moorhead home on Wednesday. Ramiro Longoria, Carrie Longoria, and Joel Lumbreras are facing felony charges for the selling of drugs, punishable up to 30 years in prison. According to Moorhead detectives, there has been a 5-year investigation on the Longoria family, and court documents show drugs sold by the family have been linked to at least 1 overdose death. Police say more arrests are possible in relation to this drug bust.
And in national news, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is pledging to shut down an important nuclear and missile test site. The agreement was announced with plenty of fanfare during the ongoing summit between the leaders of North and South Korea. But experts say there may be less here than meets the eye. CNN's Brian Todd reports.
A triumphant scene at May Day Stadium in Pyongyang. An enormous cheering crowd greets the North Korean dictator and the man who he saw as his enemy not long ago. Kim Jong-un and South Korean President Moon Jae-in have colorfully dressed children bow before them, take in fireworks and the choreography of a large dance troupe. The two men basking after their new agreement to bring peace to the Korean peninsula once and for all.
We committed to make active efforts to make the Korean peninsula a place of peace, without nuclear weapons and nuclear threats.
According to the declaration he signed, Kim Jong-un is promising to close a facility at Tongchang-ri, a key missile engine test site, and allow, quote, international experts to witness it. And, Moon says, Kim offers to destroy his gigantic complex at Yongbyon, which produces material for nuclear bombs, if the U.S. takes corresponding measures.
What do they mean by corresponding measures, and would the U.S. agree to it?
In the past, when they ask the U.S. to do this, it's a very long list that includes ending all economic sanctions, ending all nuclear weapons umbrella protection for Japan and Korea, ending military exercises, and giving them a peace treaty.
So far, no response from the White House tonight to that proposed trade-off. President Trump did respond positively overall to today's deal, saying of Kim Jong-un, quote, he's calm, I'm calm.
We had very good news from North Korea, South Korea. They met, and we had some great responses.
The president also said he's happy that North and South Korea announced they'll make a joint bid to host the 2032 Summer Olympics. But what does today's deal really mean for the U.S.? Experts say the talk of peace is a positive move, but they caution Kim's promises to dismantle that missile engine test site and the Yongbyon nuclear complex are a bit hollow and don't reduce the current threat to America, because those are older sites that the North Koreans don't use as much anymore.
In a way, they have offered to sell us the Dodge Dart and the old pickup truck they have out on the front lawn in exchange for us stopping sanctions and doing all these things. But we know inside their garage they have a Lexus and a Humvee and a BMW, and they're not willing to negotiate on that. And that's the real threat.
One thing Kim wants from the U.S., a formal treaty ending the Korean War. Then, Kim could argue, if the war is over, the U.S. should remove its 28,500 troops in South Korea.
It means that essentially North Korea has the ability to coerce reunification with the South under its terms, if it wanted to. And that the United States would not be there and would not really be able to do anything to defend South Korea if necessary.
New to campus, we'll tell you about the ways that you can be successful during this semester.
Right after the break. NDSU comes jam-packed with resources and organizations to help you be the best possible student in the classroom. For essay help, the Center for Writers, located in the lower level of the library, is a great place to get help on academic papers. If you're having trouble with classes and homework, ACE Tutoring Center has staff ready to work with students and help them learn. NDSU also offers a counseling center in Ceres Hall, room 212, for mental relief or just someone to talk to. For a full list of resources available to students, visit ndsu.edu.
Looking to make some money this semester? Now might be the perfect time to land a job. Major retailers expect this holiday season to be busy, and they are bulking up staff now. In today's Consumer Watch, Mary Maloney explains who is hiring for the holidays.
Excited shoppers and busy registers. With unemployment below 4% and paychecks rising, the holiday shopping season is expected to be big. Retail think tank CoreSite Research projects sales to reach $720 billion this year. That's 4% more than last year. To prepare for the boost, retailers are hiring now. Gap will bring on 65,000 seasonal workers. Macy's plans to hire 80,000 workers. And Target will hand out jobs to 120,000 people. That's 20% more than last year. But the holiday boom is also predicted for online retailers. Online sales are expected to be 16% higher this year than last, meaning delivery and logistics companies are also beefing up. UPS is hiring 100,000 full and part-time workers. That's 5% more than last year. FedEx is hiring 55,000 people. To attract the best candidates, some companies are offering perks like a higher hourly wage, bigger employee discounts, and gift cards. More workers and more expected shoppers means a win for this holiday season. For Consumer Watch, I'm Mary Maloney.
I'm about to put on a show.
Millions of people around the world do it, taking aspirin. They take a low-dose aspirin every day, but new research finds that regimen could do more harm than good, particularly in older adults. Karen Kaifa has more in today's Health Minute.
A trio of studies just published in the New England Journal of Medicine indicates that the long-observed regimen of taking a daily aspirin does not provide any significant benefits for healthy older adults and may do more harm than good. The primary study was conducted among 20,000 healthy people in the U.S. and Australia with a median age of 74. Half received 100 milligrams of aspirin per day, half received a placebo. After nearly 5 years, researchers didn't observe a difference between the two groups when it came to disability-free survival, but did see a higher rate of bleeding among those who received the aspirin than those who received the placebo. A second study found the risk of major hemorrhage significantly higher with aspirin than placebo. A third, higher all-cause mortality in the daily aspirin group than the placebo, though researchers said that result was unexpected and should be interpreted with caution. For patients who have already suffered a heart attack or stroke, previous research is clear. The benefits of a daily aspirin outweigh risks. And researchers are not recommending that healthy adults taking daily aspirin suddenly stop doing so. Check with your doctor first, as you always should, before starting or stopping any medication. For today's Health Minute, I'm Karen Kaifa.
Last Friday, the newly remodeled softball park, Thoraldson Park, had its grand opening and dedication. The field now boasts new bleachers, a new press box, increased seating, a new scoreboard, artificial turf, and new padding. Dean Brashani and softball coach Darren Mueller, along with others, gave a few words regarding the field. The Bison will have 2 more home games this fall semester, with the next game on September the 30th.
After the break, we'll have a sports update. Eric, what can we expect today?
Well, we've got NDSU football, and we'll take a look at the 116th meeting between the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. That and more when we come back. North Dakota State wasn't thrilled to have their bye week just 1 week into the season, but however, that gave them an extra time to prepare for North Alabama. Undefeated matchup here as the Bison are 1-0 and North Alabama 2-0. Bad start for North Alabama as a snap sails over the punter's head. The Bison recover at the 1 yard line. A few plays later, that set up this Bruce Anderson 1 yard touchdown run. The Bison are up 7-0 early on in the first quarter. Later on in the first quarter, Aaron Steidel, nice 3rd and long, pushes the guard right back into the quarterback, and he gets a sack, 1 of 5 of the day. Easton Stick decides to warm up his arm as he hits Dallas Freeman for a 54-yard touchdown, or 54-yard reception, longest of his career. That would later set up an 18-yard touchdown catch from Darius Shepard as he runs a little out route, does a little pinball with two defenders, dives for the pylon and gets it as the Bison are up 14-0. Later at the half, they would grab 17-0. In the third quarter, Easton Stick's playing a little human pinball here as he gets a 6-yard touchdown run. Bison go up 24-0 at this point. A little later on in the third, ensuing North Alabama possession, Jabril Cox gets the pick six as he puts the nail in the coffin as the Bison go up 31-0 on FCS newcomers North Alabama. And later on in the fourth quarter, Bison are driving with two freshmen, Trey Lance at quarterback, and he decides to put on his wheels as he scampers for a 31-yard touchdown run. The Lions would add a touchdown late to go on, and the Bison would go on to win 38-7.
There's always stuff that you can work on, but our goal every game is that we tell ourselves we're the best defense in the country, and if you're the best defense in the country, you got to play like it. And I think that's what we've done for the first two games, and our goal is to not give up any points. And obviously we've come pretty close to doing that, but we still got work to do.
Over the course of the second half, we were able to do some things offensively, running the football, completed a few passes, and then Jabril makes a great play, and he's a special player. And I was really pleased all day with our defense, the way they continued to wreak havoc on the quarterback. And
38-7. The Easton Stick was 10-17 for 162 yards, 2 total touchdowns. The Bison were held to just 192 rushing yards. This weekend, they welcome in CAA Conference Delaware to the Dome for homecoming, the 96th annual homecoming matchup. The Bison will welcome. The Blue Hens are currently 2-1 with a loss to Rhode Island in the opening week of the season. Two top defenses will be squaring off as NDSU ranks 6th in total defense, while Delaware ranks 9th. NDSU will face a left-handed quarterback. Head coach Chris Kleiman says they will have to change their defensive schemes.
Strength calls, yeah, we will. Typically, when the ball's in the middle in a balanced set, we would say we're going to call it to our left, his right, and we'll call it to the right rather than the left. And maybe there's some sprint out things that they would want to do, maybe go into his throwing arm, but most quarterbacks have the ability to go both ways.
With just 2 weeks left in the MLB season, there are only 2 teams that have clinched a playoff spot. Those 2 teams reside in the American League, with Cleveland and Boston both clinching the spots with just 2 weeks left in the season. Taking a look at the AL standings, as if the season were to end today, the Oakland Athletics would take on the New York Yankees, and then they would get the number 1 seed, the Boston Red Sox. In the AL West, the Astros are currently 4 games ahead of the Athletics for the division. The Yankees and the Athletics all but locked up wild card spots as well. Unlike the American League, all of the playoff spots in the National League are still up for grabs. The Atlanta Braves are looking to hold off the Philadelphia Phillies in the NL East. And in the NL Central, the Chicago Cubs and the Milwaukee Brewers are battling it out with 2.5 games separating the 2 teams. In the West, the Rockies and the Dodgers are separated by less than 2 games. And if the season were to end today, the Brewers and the Cardinals would be the 2 teams who would play in a single elimination wild card game. In the 116th meeting between the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings, they met up at historic Lambeau Field. And the last time the Vikings visited the Packers at Lambeau, they went on to win 16-0, and they were without Aaron Rodgers. And speaking of Aaron Rodgers, there he is walking out of the tunnel. Picked this game up in the fourth quarter. Kirk Cousins hits Laquan Treadwell on a little out route as the Vikings are down 23-14. Kirk Cousins here, second play of the next drive after Mason Crosby field goal. He hits Stephon Diggs wide open as the Packers aren't able to bring him down, bringing it to 21-23. Ensuing drive, the Packers are up 29-21. Kirk Cousins, he lets it fly, but Jair Alexander picks him off and the game is over. So we think. Clay Matthews get called for roughing the passer penalty right here. Apparently he drove all his weight on the quarterback. That would give the Vikings hope as they would drive down the field and get to the 22-yard line, And Kirk Cousins find the pride of Detroit Lakes, Adam Thielen. Cousins split that ball between 2 defenders, Kentrell Bryce and Jair Alexander. The Vikings would convert the 2-point conversion, but however, they left 2:13 left for Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. And Mason Crosby going on to kick a 52-yard field goal. He was 5 for 5 up to that point. He is now 5 for 6. 29-29 all at overtime. Kirk Cousins dropping back. He finds old reliable Adam Thielen at the 45 to the 42-yard line with the little barrel roll. With about 4 seconds left in overtime, Daniel Carlson has a chance. Should be an easy chip shot, right? But nope, he misses it wide right. Vikings fans are all too familiar with that, as the Vikings and Packers play to a tie for just the third time in the 116 meetings. And a one-legged Aaron Rodgers was 30 of 42 for 281 yards and 1 touchdown. Kirk Cousins was 35 of 48 for 425 yards and 4 touchdowns. You guys going to be able to make the homecoming game this weekend?
Well, I'm 314th on the waiting list, so I will probably be watching it from my house.
I'll definitely be there. I can't wait to see what hopefully is a good defensive football game.
Coming up after the break, we'll take a look at this week's Bison on the Street.
One thing NDSU students are not shy about is their love for Bison football.
Reporter Tristan Dakota took to the streets talking to students about score predictions for the upcoming homecoming football game against Delaware.
Score prediction for the game, I can see it as 49-13 for the Bison.
My score prediction is 38-7 Bison.
My score prediction for this year's homecoming game is NDSU 10, the other team 9.
48-7. Bison.
Let's do 32-6.
My score prediction will be 21-10 NDSU with the win.
I'm going to say 49-14.
Let's go with 28-24.
35-14.
Bison or Delaware?
Bison. Always.
28-17 Bison.
Go Bison.
Thank you for watching this edition of Bison Network News.
Be sure to check us out on our Facebook and Instagram pages.
And catch you next week. Have a great night, everyone.